Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my brothers and sisters in Islam. Today, I come to speak to you of a powerful reality, a promise beyond anything you could have imagined. Imagine for a moment that the Almighty Allah had chosen you especially, personally, to clothe you in a sacred mantle, a mantle laden with blessings, light, and above all, wealth. Not ordinary wealth, my dears, but wealth that transcends the material, wealth that even the greatest millionaires of this world cannot comprehend. This divine wealth is there, ready to be granted to you, because Allah has chosen you, because He saw in you this pure heart, this sincere soul, and this immense potential. But this choice, as glorious as it may be, comes with a call to responsibility, to perseverance, to unwavering faith. For to become the first millionaire with the sacred mantle is to become a bearer of light, a guide for those who seek truth, peace, and true abundance. You're probably wondering, how is this possible? Am I truly worthy of such an honor? The answer is yes, if your heart is sincere, if you're willing to follow the path Allah has laid out for you. This path isn't always easy, but it's filled with unseen treasures waiting to be discovered. So in this video, I invite you to open your heart and pay attention to every word, because what you're about to hear today could change your life forever. May this divine light enter you, enlighten your mind, and guide you to the sacred mantle that awaits you. Stay with me, for Allah has prepared an extraordinary destiny for you. And remember, the greatest secret of wealth is not found in bank accounts, but in absolute trust in the one who gives without counting. Being chosen by Allah is not a mere coincidence or a light favor received without understanding its significance. It is an immense honor, a profound responsibility, a call to distinguish oneself through one's faith, one's actions, and one's sincere commitment to divine truth. When the Almighty chooses you, it means that you have been tested, that you have weathered invisible storms, and that your heart has resisted temptation, doubt, and despair. This choice is the recognition of a hidden potential, an inner light that is just waiting to shine fully. In the Quran, Allah says, "We prefer some to others in this life, but the greatest reward is with Allah." Surah Az-Zumar 39:20. This verse reminds us that Allah's choice surpasses all earthly comparisons. It is not a superficial material wealth, but a high spiritual status that precedes and transcends all fortune. Being chosen also means being tested. The Prophet said, "The believers most beloved to Allah are those who undergo the greatest trials." This ordeal is a sign that you are on the path to elevation. It purifies your soul, builds your patience, and prepares you to receive this sacred mantle, symbol of divine favor. Divine selection is not based on appearances, nor on the number of your wealth or loved ones. It depends solely on the sincerity of your heart, your submission to Allah, and your perseverance in faith. Allah looks at your heart. He knows your secret intentions, your inner struggles, and this is what makes you worthy of His choice. Throughout the history of the prophets and righteous predecessors, we see that Allah's chosen ones have always been those who remained steadfast in adversity, accepted trials with humility, and placed their absolute trust in their Lord. These are the men and women whom the Almighty has honored by entrusting them with unparalleled spiritual responsibilities and blessings. Today, it's your turn to embrace this role. It's not just a privilege, but a mission. A mission that asks you to surpass yourself, to raise your gaze beyond this temporary world, and to aspire to a richness that never ends. Think for a moment. How can you answer this call? How will you prove to Allah that you are ready for this sacred mantle, that you are ready to become this millionaire of faith and light? This reflection is essential because it will guide every step you take on this path. Never forget, to be chosen by Allah is to receive a promise that, despite the difficulties, despite the moments of anguish, victory is assured. For whoever is with Allah lacks nothing. True wealth, the kind Allah promises to the chosen ones, far exceeds anything this world can offer. In a society where money is often perceived as the ultimate source of success and happiness, Islam teaches us another reality, a wealth that is deeper, more lasting, and infinite. This wealth is not only material, but above all, spiritual. And it is the key to receiving the sacred mantle of which we speak. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The truly rich man is not the one who has a lot of gold and silver, but the one whose heart is rich." Allah provides for whom He wills without counting. Surah Al-Baqarah 2-212. This sustenance is not limited to money. It includes health, serenity, protection from hardship, and success in worldly affairs and the hereafter. Thus, being a millionaire in the eyes of Allah means having a life filled with barakah, where every good received is purified, used wisely, and shared generously. It is a state where worldly riches do not become a burden or a source of distress, but a means of worshipping Allah and serving His creation. You must understand that the sacred cloak you are about to receive is the embodiment of this blessed wealth. This cloak is not just a garment, but a symbol of spiritual success, of the light that illuminates your heart, and of the divine protection that accompanies you everywhere. This divine wealth also allows you to help others, to do good around you, and to build a lasting legacy, not only in this world, but especially in the hereafter. It is 1,000,000 times more precious than money because it nourishes the soul and prepares for the encounter with Allah. By cultivating this spiritual wealth, you become a source of inspiration to those around you. Your faith, trust, and generosity become a living testimony to Allah's power and His promise to His chosen ones. Remember that this true wealth is built every day through prayer, patience, dhikr, and good deeds. It is the fruit of sincere commitment and unwavering perseverance in the way of Allah. The sacred cloak we are talking about is not just a garment that one puts on. In Islamic tradition, it is imbued with profound and powerful symbolism. It represents Allah's favor, divine protection, as well as the dignity and responsibility that the chosen one carries in his life. Throughout prophetic history, the cloak has always been a distinctive symbol. The Prophet Muhammad himself wore simple garments, but each piece carried a meaning: humility, purity, and preparation for God's mission. The cloaks of prophets and pious men often symbolize a stage in their spiritual journey, a passage to a new phase and elevation toward nearness to Allah. The sacred cloak you are about to receive is therefore a metaphor for a profound inner transformation. It is not an object visible to human eyes, but a manifest sign in your heart, a light that illuminates your steps and protects your soul. Allah grants it to those who have persevered despite trials, who have kept the faith even when the path seemed dark and uncertain. This cloak is also Allah's promise that you will never be alone. No matter the storms, difficulties, and obstacles, you will carry His protection. He will surround you with His mercy and support you in every moment of your life. You will become a beacon for others, a source of light in a world often plunged into darkness. Receiving this sacred mantle also means accepting a new identity, that of a chosen one, a privileged servant of Allah, who must guide, inspire, and remain steadfast in his faith. It is a mantle that demands responsibility, for it attracts the gaze of people and also that of Allah. It calls you to righteousness, wisdom, patience, and humility. In the Quran, Allah speaks of the greatness of the rewards reserved for those who persevere, those who believe and whose hearts are at peace in the remembrance of Allah. Is it not in the remembrance of Allah that hearts are at peace? Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. This quote is therefore also a source of inner peace and serenity, a bulwark against anxiety and despair. Finally, the sacred cloak is a visible sign of Allah's love for you. A love that surpasses anything you can imagine. A love that uplifts you, protects you, and prepares you for a life of success, both here and in the hereafter. When Allah chooses you to wear His sacred mantle, it means you are called to a profound transformation, a spiritual elevation that surpasses anything you have ever known. But this path, as glorious as it may be, is never easy. It is strewn with trials, struggles, and challenges that will forge your character and refine your faith. It is in this final test, this final ordeal, that your true greatness will be revealed. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Whoever endures patiently, Allah will grant him a great reward." Patience is not just a virtue. It is a divine key that unlocks the door to the fulfillment of Allah's promises. When you wear the sacred mantle, you also wear this patience, the silent courage that pushes you forward despite the storms. Trials are a purification. They cleanse your heart of doubts, weaknesses, and false certainties. They force you to turn ever more closely to Allah, to seek refuge in Him, to nourish yourself with His words and His light. Through these difficult times, Allah shapes within you a spiritual diamond, a new being, stronger and closer to Him. But why does Allah test us? The Quran answers clearly, "And we will test you until we know those among you who strive and are patient." Surah Muhammad 47:31. This verse shows us that trials are also a way for Allah to distinguish His chosen ones, those who deserve His closeness and His blessings. This moment that you are living, or that you are about to live, is therefore a crucial step. It is like a springboard that propels you towards a new life, a life where the sacred mantle will no longer be just a promise, but a tangible reality. Think of this trial as a fire that purifies gold. The more intense the fire, the purer and brighter the gold becomes. Likewise, your hardships are the fire that will purify your soul and prepare you to receive the greatness God has prepared for you. You are not alone in this ordeal. Allah is always with you, even if you sometimes feel His distance. His wisdom is infinite, and He knows what is in your heart. The Prophet said, "Do not lose hope, for after the night always comes the dawn." This light, this dawn, is the reward that awaits you if you persevere. It's also essential to understand that this ordeal isn't just personal. It has a collective dimension. By becoming strong and patient, you become an example, a beacon for your family, your community, and all those around you. Your spiritual victory inspires, reassures, and motivates. Through this step, you are called to detach yourself from superficial things, to review your priorities, to purify your intentions. The sacred mantle is not for those who simply seek wealth or worldly success. It is for those who aspire to inner wealth, lasting peace, and a sincere love for Allah. Patience is therefore your best weapon, your light in the darkness, and your key to unlocking the doors of divine mercy. Welcome this trial with faith, with confidence, and with the certainty that each difficulty is one step closer to your blessed destiny. Finally, Remember that this phase of trial is also an invitation to strengthen your connection with Allah through prayer, dhikr, and reading the Quran. These acts are like balm for your heart, bringing you closer to your Lord and giving you the strength to move forward. Take this moment as a precious opportunity. Don't see it as a burden, but as a divine opportunity to cleanse, renew, and elevate yourself to greatness. Your sacred mantle is at the end of the road, waiting for you with a promise of abundance, peace, and eternal success. When you are chosen by Allah to wear His sacred mantle, it means you are on the threshold of an unprecedented spiritual and material transformation. But this transformation does not happen by chance, nor without perfect alignment between your heart, your intentions, and your actions. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, demands from you purity of soul and total sincerity. Only in this way will you be able to access this immense blessing. The path to this elevation is fraught with pitfalls, doubts, and moments when you will feel weak or isolated. But it is precisely in these moments that your faith will be tested, that your trust in Allah must shine brightest. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer, so be strong, seek Allah's help, and do not weaken." This strength is not only physical, but above all, spiritual. A strength of the heart which is rooted in hope and connection to Allah. It is important to understand that this final test is an invitation to excellence in all aspects of your life. Your relationship with Allah, with yourself, and with others. Every thought, every word, every action must be imbued with this divine awareness. You become a living model of faith, an ambassador of light in a world often plunged into darkness. Furthermore, this transformation does not mean that you are exempt from difficulties or weaknesses. On the contrary, recognizing your limitations, your mistakes, and your dependence on Allah is a sign of wisdom and humility. Allah loves those who return to Him with sincerity and who persevere despite trials. The sacred cloak also symbolizes divine protection. In a world where temptations are numerous and trials sometimes overwhelming, Allah covers you with His mercy. He shields you from negative influences, guides you toward the right decisions, and supports you in your struggles. This protection does not mean the absence of difficulties, but the certainty that you will never fall alone. It is also crucial to cultivate gratitude. Every day, thank Allah for the blessings, seen and unseen, for the trials that purify, and for the patience He gives you. Gratitude opens the doors to spiritual and material wealth. The Quran reminds us, "If you are grateful, I will certainly increase you in favor." Surah Ibrahim 47. Faith is a garden that you must water daily with acts of devotion, generosity, and forgiveness. This garden, under the protection of Allah, will bloom abundantly and allow you to fully don this sacred mantle. Remember that this transformation is also a responsibility. By being elected, you become a beacon for your community, an example to follow, a source of inspiration. Your spiritual success lights the path for others, and your testimony strengthens the faith of those who doubt. Finally, never allow pride or vanity to enter your heart. The sacred cloak is a gift from Allah, and it is He alone who decides to whom He grants it. Remain humble, always aware of your dependence on His grace, and continue to purify yourself through prayer, reading the Quran, and meditation. You have reached the threshold of the final stage of this spiritual journey that Allah has laid out for you. This final stage is where everything comes to fruition, where the sacred mantle you wear becomes not only a symbol, but a manifest reality in your life. You are now called to fully embody this elevation, to live in the brilliant light that divine mercy bestows upon you, and to embrace the role God has reserved for you. But before entering this new dimension, it is crucial to fully understand the profound implications of this ultimate transformation. The first thing to realize is that you will not only become a material millionaire in the classic sense, but a millionaire of faith, inner peace, and spiritual satisfaction. Allah does not bestow His favors haphazardly. He bestows them on those who have endured trials, who have maintained patience and constancy, who have been sincere in their love for Him and in their service to humanity. This million blessing is an inner wealth that surpasses all material riches, a wealth that nourishes the soul and elevates the heart. The Quran teaches us this fundamental truth, and Allah promises you much wealth, and that you may be patient and grateful. Surah An-Nisa 447. It is a divine promise that is always accompanied by a call for patience and gratitude. These two qualities will enable you to keep your sacred mantle intact, even amidst the temptations and challenges of this world. Next, you must understand that this sacred mantle carries with it an immense responsibility. You become a living example of faith, a guide for those seeking light. People will look to you for answers, to be inspired by your steadfastness, and to draw courage from your story. This responsibility requires humility, wisdom, and a deep connection with Allah. For without Him, no success can be lasting. Therefore, it is essential to continue to nourish your relationship with Allah through sincere acts of worship, regular prayer, dhikr, reciting the Quran, and meditation. These acts are the pillars that support the sacred mantle, the source of your spiritual strength, and a refuge from pride or fatigue. It is also important to learn to handle this new position wisely. Allah's wealth and blessings must never become a pretext for arrogance or self-centeredness. The Prophet warned us that the true believer is the one who is humble even in greatness. Whoever humbles himself for the sake of Allah, Allah will exalt him. Hadith. Thus, the sacred mantle is also a call to modesty and gentleness, to be a faithful servant, even at the height of your success. Furthermore, this sacred mantle opens doors to an abundance that goes beyond money or material possessions. It is an abundance of peace, serenity, strong and sincere relationships, and a lasting positive impact on your community. This wealth is a means to help others, build bridges, and spread justice and mercy. You thus become a true ambassador of Allah on earth, charged with bringing light to a world in great need of it. Your life becomes a living testimony to the power of faith, patience, and perseverance. It is natural that in this final stage, you feel both immense joy and a weight of responsibility. This mixture is a sign that you are moving forward on the right path. Always remember that your strength comes from Allah, that your success depends on Him, and that you must remain faithful to Him at all times. Finally, this step is an invitation to look to the future with hope and confidence. Your sacred mantle is a sign that Allah has chosen you for a special mission, a mission that goes far beyond your own ambitions. It prepares you for lasting success in this world and in the hereafter, a place of honor with Him. May this final step be for you a moment of profound gratitude, spiritual renewal, and determination to continue on this path with faith and humility. You now wear the sacred mantle, the clear sign that you are one of Allah's chosen ones, a spiritual millionaire whose wealth will never cease to grow.